Welcome to Monday Meditations with Paul and Carol. Today is the first Monday of 2021. It is January 4th, and we're going to spend the month looking at creation.
This month, January, is often about beginnings. And so we are going to focus on the creation. And we're going to look at the Creator creating this beautiful planet that we live on, Earth. And we're going to just meditate on those days that God took to create the earth and what happened on those different days. And then we're going to pose some questions.
Let's begin with some scripture. Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 through 8, from the Message translation. First, this. God created the heavens and earth, all you see, all you don't see. Earth was a soup of nothingness, a bottomless emptiness, and an inky blackness. God's Spirit brooded like a bird above the watery abyss. God spoke. Light, and light appeared. God saw that light was good and separated light from dark. God named the light day. He named the dark night. It was evening. It was morning. Day one. God spoke. Sky. In the middle of the waters, separate water from water. God made sky. He separated the water under sky from the water above sky, and there it was. He named the sky the heavens. It was evening. It was morning. Day two.
I'd like to share some of my thoughts about this passage of Scripture, the first 8 verses in the Bible. And as I recently read these scriptures, I realized that I didn't have a context really for understanding how something can be formless and empty, and that there's darkness, and that the surface is deep. So I take my own tangible images that I can and create in my imagination what I think it might be like. And to me, it's like being in a thick fog in the night, and you're surrounded by the fog and there's no light, and it seems as if there is nothing out there, even though your feet are on solid ground. But there was something, because it came out of the surface of the deep, and that's the water. And because the second half of verse 2, which is one of my favorite images, and there's a couple different ways that different translations refer to it. The one I recently read was from the NIV version, and it says, "And the Spirit of God was hovering over the water." And other versions say moving, brooding. There's a lot of different versions. And one of the nice things I love to do is I like to take a concordance and I like to look up, what does that mean? What does, in the King James Version is moving. And if you look that up, the Hebrew word is a word called rachaf. And it means to brood, to be relaxed, flutter, move, and shake. And in the Message Bible that Paul shared, it gave you the image of a bird, of a, brooding over and hovering over. And so that's kind of what the Spirit was like. It was like a mother bird hovering over her babies, getting ready for something to happen. And so then then God speaks forth his first words. In the NIV it says, "Let there be light." And there was light, and the light was good, and it separated from the darkness. And then there was evening and morning, and that was the first day. And then the second day, this verse has some words in it. Sometimes it's called a vault. Sometimes it's called a firmament. So of course I had to look up, what is firmament? It's one of those kind of old-fashioned words that a lot of times they're in hymns, but we don't really use that word very much anymore. And again, the Hebrew word is called rakia, and it's an expanse, the firmament or apparently visible arch of the sky. And so that is, we can see that. We can see the arch of the sky that we see when we look out from the earth. And that's, and you just, to hear or just to imagine God speaking forth those words, let there be light. And then he talked about how the light was good. And so to me, it's just exciting. It's exciting to look at these verses that, if you grew up in church and went to Sunday school, you know the creation story, you know all these things. But to really focus on, I love that image of the Spirit hovering over the earth. And I love, just imagining God speaking these words into being and making light and separating light and darkness and having sky and having the heavens. And so I think that I love the images in these verses, and I love to be focusing on how this beautiful earth of ours was created. Well, today our question that we would like to pose to you, and we're going to share our thoughts about it, is why is it good to have evening and morning? As you noticed at the end of each of the times when they talked about the days, it talked about where there was evening and there was morning, day 1, and then evening and morning, day 2. And it will continue on through the next verses. So Paul, why do you think there's evening and morning? Why do you think God created it that way?
Well, the first thought that comes to my mind is we know that Scripture says that we were created in His image, and that I want to understand some more about that. God is outside of time, but we're created in His image. So is there some... Because I think evening and morning are about time. For us, they separate time for us. It feels like we're made that way. We need that. We like that new beginning. We like the end of a day. I don't know how that fits in with being created in God's image. I want to understand. I want to investigate. Maybe there's not a connection there. But if there is, I want to know more about that. That's one of my thoughts with that. What about you?
Well, my first thought was we need that separation of day and night because we need a time of rest. I think that we weren't created to go. We need that time. All creation, I think all, as you look around, not only people, animals, plants, everything that God created, I think, needs a time of rest. And I think some things rest at night. Some things rest during the day. Some things, like now, I have a really crazy schedule where I go to bed and then I wake up in the middle of the morning because I have to teach, and the children I teach live in China. So then I work for a while and then I go back to bed in the early morning and then I sleep most of the morning. So then some of my sleeping time is during the morning hours when it's light. But I think whenever you rest, I think you need that time. You need that time to rest. And I think that's part of, all the different parts, just the earth moving around, the sun, the moon, all that kind of stuff, I think kind of helps with that, with the rhythms of our lives and having the rest and the working time and the doing time. Another part that I thought of was when it talked about God created the heavens. And if we didn't have an evening, we wouldn't see the heavens. You know, if it was always just light, then we wouldn't get to experience the beauty of the stars and the planets and the moon and, you know, all the things that we are able to see up in the sky at night. We would miss out on all of that if it was always light 24 hours a day. And so I think that's another reason why we get to experience that beauty of the heavens that God created.
Yeah, there's so much there, and it's one of the reasons why we like to pose the questions and meditate on those and have you share those thoughts of yours with us. We do appreciate it when you do that. If you like the conversation, if you like the meditation and the thought, and you live here in the Silver Valley, we would like to invite you to come during the month of January and join us on Thursday nights at 6 p.m. at Mountain View Congregational Church. We have a service that we are calling Creative Communion. There will be a time of communion at the end of that service, but our theme for this month is creation. And so if that intrigues you, if you want to look at it more, then come and join us Thursdays at 6 p.m. and continue to join us. We'll be posting these, we'll be recording.
Sometime on Monday.
We'll be recording on Mondays and posting them at some point during the week. We hope that we can do that early Monday. So thank you once again for joining us. If you joined us for Advent, welcome back. If you're seeing us for the first time, then please let us know that if you're enjoying joining us for Monday meditations. Thank you.